how come the Prime Minister suddenly has such a clear space in his diary when we were being told he couldn't possibly attend this summit only days ago?
Well, if you remember, Tom, he came in facing a whole series of challenges, and quite rightly, the Prime Minister's first priority was to focus on the domestic situation, supporting my department on energy interventions, and of course we passed the energy bill, and Energy Act, in order to intervene and support families through this winter, focusing on preparation for November the 17th. So his focus absolutely to get that right. But he's, as we know, he's a phenomenally hard-working, extremely bright and focused individual, and he promised to work flat out from the moment he came into office. He's worked with the Chancellor and is now able to carve out of his diary a visit to the conference, showing his personal as well as this government's commitment to the delivery of net zero.
In the Labour Party have, of course, been calling this a screeching U-turn, saying that it shows weakness that he's been forced to change his mind on this issue. But I want to take a second to consider the other issues where it looks like this Prime Minister has performed some screeching U-turns. Yesterday we were told that all of his campaign pledges from the summer have been abandoned, or at the very least only the sentiment of them rather than the particulars of them remain. I believe we can see some of those pledges that Rishi Sunak pledged over the summer. For example, cutting the basic rate of income tax from 20p to 16p. That is no longer a commitment. He also pledged, as we can see next, to scrap VAT on energy bills. Now, there's been no commitment from that at all since he became Prime Minister. Another one, of course, was Rishi Sunak promising to scrap all EU laws that hold the country back before the next election. That is now no longer a commitment. But those are just a flavour of some of the commitments that Rishi Sunak made over the summer that we're now not seeing come into practice. Is this a defining trait of the new Prime Minister, that he just U-turns on every issue?
Well, hardly, Tom. When the facts change, your opinions sometimes change. And one of the issues we're doing is coming into office. He's wrestling with so many of these big issues, and already has been able to bring the stability and I think sound governance which the country is looking for. Working with the Chancellor, the fiscal situation is challenging. You've talked about black holes. It is challenging. We're seeing interest rates rising around the world. We've seen, I think, the Fed has just raised their interest rates again, and we're waiting for the Independent Bank of England to pronounce today. So, he's absolutely focused, working with colleagues across government and informed by advice from departments like mine to work out the right way to approach it. So you talked about, VAT on energy bills. We've done a different kind of intervention, saving the average family £700 this winter. People are seeing it in their bills because this government is intervening to help families, help businesses get through this winter. And at the same time, we're also focusing on long-term energy security issues, whether it's licenses in the North Sea, whether it's our commitment to more nuclear. So when you're in government, you work right across the whole of government. You use the whole brain of government, if you like, Tom. And that's exactly what the Prime Minister's doing, and he's doing it in a sober, coherent and methodical manner. And it's great that he's also able now to come out to Sharm, lead our delegation and carry on encouraging the rest of the world to follow this country in its pathway to net zero. And we've led the world in cutting emissions, and we've led the world in international negotiations. And I think our presidency, around Glasgow, went from 30% of global GDP being covered by net zero pledges in 2019 to more than 90% today. It's a phenomenal diplomatic achievement, and it's great that the Prime Minister is able to be in Sharm and help make sure that the actions that need to follow those high-level pledges are real, because the science is pretty overwhelming and says if we don't do it, we're not currently on track globally, and we need to do more. And that's why he's going to be part of our team over there, along with other ministers, including me, in terms of championing these issues which we care about enormously and which are important to the whole planet.